Right then, guys, I want to talk about being rich and jacked is just stage one. Okay, we all got told all you have to do to have an amazing life is get rich and jacked. Does it improve your life? Tenfold, 100%. It's brilliant. Like, being rich and jacked is the best thing that you can do as a man. Like I've said to you guys before, it's the core fundamentals of what everything is built on. It's the foundation of men's self-improvement. The more money you have, the better shape you're in, the better your life tends to get, up to a certain point. Because on their own, they are useless. On their own, they mean nothing. You think about it, if you've got 10 million in the bank and you've got six-pack abs and massive muscles, but you lack social skills and you don't want to go and meet people, you don't want to talk to people, you have a fear of going outside, you don't really know what to buy and what to spend it on to have good life setup and framing, you don't really know how to dress. You think, lime green Lamborghini, that's what everyone's got on social media, I guess I have to get one of those. And then you have absolutely zero knowledge of, like, you're driving along the road and somebody can rob you and you have no fight skills and you're wearing an expensive watch because you've been told to wear one and you've got these muscles, but you don't know how to use them. You don't know how to fight. Do you see what I mean? It's like, they're just foundations. On their own, they're nothing. Imagine being a billionaire who's absolutely jacked and girls are kind of noticing you, they're staring at you and you're like, they're going to come over in a minute, and they never do. Now what? Now, what do you do now? Oh, okay, I'm going to go and get more jacked and more rich. Like, do you see what I mean? They're just foundations. On their own, they're fucking pointless. And there's so many guys in this industry that their whole thing is just being rich and jacked, and they're on fucking steroids. They're on steroids and they're selling a course, and I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to go down that route. I'm going to stop myself there. But most of them are on steroids, and they're just getting jacked out of their minds, and then they lack social skills. They actually lack the ability to be able to talk to anybody. They actually lack the ability to know how to then use it. Like I said, you could be the most jacked guy in the world, you could be handsome, you could have money, and it's like, it's just a foundation. It's just a foundation. It's just something that you can build other things off of. Like, if you want to dress well, you kind of have to have money. But if you've got money, it doesn't mean that you dress well. Do you see what I mean? It's like you need the money to be able to dress well, but you can't do it in reverse. It doesn't work. You can't just be like, I'm rich, so I'm going to dress well. It's like, you still need the knowledge. You still need to know what you're doing. Yeah, you could hire a stylist, but what you're doing as a grown man, like, you kind of still need to know how to wear it, how to walk. Like, okay, you're jacked, you're rich, but you walk with terrible body language and you walk with your head down and you're afraid to speak to people. It's like, are you the type of person who knows how to handle that level of cash? If you've got £1 million watch on and somebody tries to take it from you, do you know how to defend yourself? Do you know how to put yourself in situations where you'll never have to defend yourself because you're smart enough to avoid those scenarios? You're smart enough to be streetwise to stop it all, to stop it before it even begins. Do you understand life setup, safety, multiple passports, multiple bank accounts around the world, that level of knowledge? Because there's so many of you that are just like, I'm going to get jacked, go to the gym, make money, and I'm going to stay in, save every penny I have and sit behind a screen. And it's like, yeah, but you actually have no world knowledge. You have no knowledge of things that actually matter. You're just going to be the jacked rich guy that just kind of stands there and just goes, so what do I do now? And that's what so many guys are realizing. They're making money, they're getting in shape, and then they're going, so what happens next? And it's like, no, you just built a foundation. Now you actually have to start living. Now you actually have to go out into the real world and test it all. I'm trying to think of a really good example. There's got to be one out there. There has to be something similar to that. It's almost like, you know, if you had a sports team and you had the best stadium in the world and you had the best kit in the world, the best uniforms and stuff, but the players sucked at playing the sport, you'd be like, oh, well, we looked good when we walked out. You know, if you had a bunch of like jacked 7-foot guys and they were wearing the best uniforms ever and the stadium was insane and the pyrotechnics were crazy and the cheerleaders were hot as hell. And then when you kicked off, you're like, oh, actually, I don't know actually how to play the sport. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got all the gear and no idea. You know, you see that a lot with people. They're just like, they look the part, but they're just not it. They don't understand how everything works. And it's like, stop focusing on the materialistic assets. Stop focusing on, okay, I'll get rich, I'll get jacked, I'll wear a medium shirt, I will go and get a lime green Lamborghini and I'll get that watch that everyone seems to like, the Rolex Submariner. I'll just get that because it looks cool and everyone knows what it looks like. And then what? And you go, I'll go to that nightclub that everyone talks about. You know, the big one? I'll go in there. I'll go into this famous nightclub that everyone talks about. I've always dreamt of just sitting there and girls will just come over to me, and it's like, no, it's not how it works. You still need human skills. You still need life setup. You still need framing. You need to get that knowledge from people who are actually doing it. You get that shit from community. You get that shit from being around people who have been there and done it, who have gone through the rich and jacked stage and gone, okay, what now? And then they've had to figure it out again. Everyone thinks, oh, I'll get rich and jacked and all my problems are solved. And it's like, I did that shit at 28, 29. I got rich and jacked and then went, okay, this is boring. I'm kind of still sat on my own every Saturday night. Yeah, I can invite someone round, but like, you know, you almost think she's going to like you because you're rich and jacked, and then she kind of just distances herself, and you go, oh, okay. And then there's no guarantee that your money's going to keep coming in just because you're now rich, and you almost have to like learn life again. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like as a kid, you learn how to walk, and then you learn how to run, and then the world opens up to you, you learn how to speak, and you're like, oh my God, I've got every tool I'll ever need. I'm basically an adult. And then things just start hitting you as you get older and older and older. And you go, yeah, you can speak, but do you want to know how to speak properly? And oh, and by the way, there's different languages. And then you go, oh, I've gotten old enough to figure out that I live in this country. This country is great. Like, this is my hometown. This is my name. And then you go, do you know other people live in different countries and they have names that you probably can't understand or pronounce? And then you go, you have a surname. It's like, okay. Well, in Spain, their surname is like the first name and it's back to front and they have 9 names and you're just like, wait, what? Like, that's what life is like. Life is just like, okay, I'm rich and jacked. What now? And then you go, bro, honestly, it's stage 1. Like, that is, oh, well done. Welcome to the game. You've gained entry. You've gained £100 entry into the nightclub. Congratulations. Welcome. It's almost like you have a country club, like a members club. And it's like, oh, you've qualified. You get to come in there. And then you go, okay, but what do I, and it's like, yeah, this is the start of the game. It's almost like you've made it through the academy system, through the draft system in America. Do you know what you've done? You've passed the combine, the NFL combine. That's what you've done. You benched the right amount. You ran a 40-yard dash. You did it in a good time. You did your standing broad jump. You jumped high. You managed to do everything. And they're like, this guy's a bit of an athlete. Let's get him in the NFL. Let's sign him on a contract. And then some people are like, I've made it. And you're just like, no, now it starts for real. This is it. Rich and jacked are just platforms that you can then build your life off of. You're jacked. Okay, but what are you going to wear? Because if you're jacked and you wear too tight a shirt, you just look like a twat. Whereas if you dress in the correct way, now suddenly you look good. If you're jacked and you become a bully and you're pushing people around, everyone thinks you're a dick. And some guy's like some skinny boxer is just going to smash your face in. You know, if you're rich and you think, I can just buy everyone everything and it's like, you need to learn that lesson. You're so wet behind the ears when you're just rich and jacked. You're more vulnerable as well because you become like a rich kid. You just become this target where it's like, oh, look at that guy. He got big. He got on some steroids, started drinking his protein shake. He made a little bit of money. He went and got the car on finance, bought the watch. He's now got the escort girlfriend who we know is cheating with him. As 50 Cent said, that pussy's community. We know she's sleeping around. And I think there's guys that are at a certain level that look at like that new age of like, now I'm jacked and I'm kind of first time ever getting attention and I've got money and they've got the first shape up of their life and they're like, I figured it all out, and they go and get the tattoos and stuff and the tattoos here, and it's just like, here we go again. Here's another clone of everything we've seen before, but they don't understand life setup and framing. They don't understand how to use it. Rich and jacked, like I said, is just step 1. It's stage 1. In order to get to the next stage, you need to be around the people that have done that and then figured out how to actually use it to get to the next phase of life. Otherwise, on its own, what you're going to do, you're just going to pile a bunch of gold bars up on a table next to yourself in an expensive club and go, I'm just going to wait for the girls to come over. They're not flies to shit. They're not wasps. They're not bees going around looking for honey. It's like, you still have to go and have social skills. You still have to be proactive. Nothing ever changed. I know guys that were like, oh, wait until I get that Lamborghini. Then I'll start approaching women. And I was like, what are you doing? You idiot. Just do stuff now. Just be the guy that you want to be now. They're just bonuses. They just make life a little bit easier for you. They're mini male advantages. Without them, there's not a lot you can do. With them, you can do everything. But on their own, they mean nothing.